Well, we're out at the Leach Botanical Gardens. I'm with Virginia. Virginia, it's been a couple years since we've been out here, and there have been a lot of changes.
There have been a lot of changes, yes. We have just had a large enhancement project, a big construction project that has doubled our cultivated garden space. We have a new welcome plaza here where we are welcoming people. Used to come in at the Manor House gates below, and now they come in up top through a welcome plaza and then through a 3-season pollinator garden, and up where when they first come in, they see this beautiful pollinator garden spread out before them, and then the covered terrace which leads out onto the aerial tree walk here. That's a pretty amazing thing for people. And
yeah, it's a pretty cool looking walkway.
Right, it takes them 30 feet up into the air. They can really hear the birds. They can see the trees, you know, up close. And then just the texture and the colors up there are really something. At certain times of the year, you can see down to Johnson Creek from there, depending on the foliage. And you can also get a great view of the Manor House, the historic Manor House.
Right, and and as we're all looking to get outdoors and go experience places, this is just right in our backyard.
It sure is, yeah.
And so when people come out to the gardens, what should they expect when they come out here?
Well, they should expect a peaceful place. It's really peaceful. You just feel a kind of calmness and a quiet and a respite. So when you first arrive, again, we have a new welcome plaza and new parking, probably about double the parking that we had before. But most people, if you've been here before, you'll want to know that the new entrance is on Southeast Claiborne Street. Okay. So that's a whole new entrance to the garden. And then you come through, and we do have limited parking, even though we have more parking. So it's really good to make an advance reservation. We have time ticketing right now, and admission is waived, but we do recommend making an advance reservation so that you can come when you want to come.
And so, right next to us, we have this great pavilion spot with a fireplace area. So, can people rent out the space?
Absolutely, yes. And people have always rented Leach Botanical Garden, mostly down at the Manor House and the East Terrace. But now we have this covered arbor and the fireplace terrace and the tree walk. And so I would encourage people to get in touch with our rental coordinator. She can give you all the information you need to have a beautiful ceremony and reception or business meeting, or just a family celebration.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot for it.
And we're not wearing our masks right now. We're keeping separate. But when people come out, you want them to wear masks?
We do ask that they wear masks, just because we don't know who is vaccinated and who is not. And it just makes everybody feel more comfortable to be in certain, even though there's a lot of space and people can kind of feel outdoors, there are some congested areas at times. Some of the paths are more narrow. It just makes everybody feel much more safe to have their masks on.
And you talked about, there's a bunch of new planting areas and new gardens. So I think we're going to head over and talk to Adam about some of the new plantings, and we'll check those out.
All right, thanks.
So now I'm with Adam, and he's the head horticultural manager out here at the gardens. And Adam, you have some really new beds that are all themed.
Yeah, we've added many new garden spaces with the expansion. Right now we're standing pretty much in between two of them. In front of me is our new Pollinator Garden, and behind me is our Woodland Hillside. The Woodland Hillside is a collection of all Portland native plants. So they're grouped in large groupings so that as you're walking on the aerial tree walk, as you look below, you can see these large groups of all native plants. Pollinator Garden is a mix of natives and non-natives, all great pollinators, believe it or not, for insects, food for birds, and the design of that is things are in bands. In the spring, you'll see rings and bands as things flower. As spring ends and summer comes in, instead of being bands, it becomes waves, and the colors change from cool spring to really bold summer colors. It's a really interesting design. Right. And off in the distance, over beyond our entrance, we have a southeast collection. It's all southeast United States native trees and shrubs as well.
Well, it's so many different areas of the garden. It's very educational.
It is. A huge focus for us here at Leach is to educate. So we have a lot of school groups that come out, and just the general public as well. We want people to be able to learn something while they're here. In addition to being beautiful, we're trying to teach kids about horticulture, about ecosystems and restoration work. So we have, this Pollinator Garden here that's a mix of natives and non-natives. We have other areas where it's all natives, and our intention is to have school groups come out and learn all about all the differences and get their hands dirty.
Right. You know, with all the expansion, you've had these, you know, great new beds, but it's also accessible.
It is. For anybody that had been to the garden before, you probably know that the garden's on a pretty significant slope and a lot of the areas were not accessible. So with this expansion, there was a big push to create many more areas that are accessible to anybody with mobility issues. So where we're standing now, from the entrance here, everything is on grade accessible, and that includes being able to walk out onto our tree walk, which again, totally accessible.
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, we're right here in the city and it's just in everybody's backyard, and there's so much that we can learn while we're out there, you know. So make sure you come on out to, you know, Leach Botanical Gardens. There's so many new changes, so many new beds. You guys have done a great job, you know, building this up and expanding it, and there's still more to come.
There is. Thank you.
So make sure you go to Leach Botanical Garden or to go to gardentime.tv, and we'll click you over to their website on how to come out and enjoy this great space.